Good morning, America. I'm gonna try this YouTube thing out. I don't feel comfortable talking in front of cameras and feel like I'm talking to my damn self. But however, I'm gonna give this thing a try because you gotta try new things. Hey, today we're gonna put a radio in a Toyota Rav4 2016. Use a Pioneer unit, one of the NEX units, 2770, great unit. And there's the patient. We're gonna try to bring y'all a little content about different vehicles so you all can see the journey that it takes to get these things done. Let's have at it. Okay. All right. As you can see, the factory head unit in here. Nice vehicle. So that has to come out so we can do our dance. It has a factory backup camera. We're going to retain that. I'm also going to show you what harnesses and wires that we're using. That way you can understand to do it the right way. Don't let nobody just get in your car, start hacking and splicing. A lot of these people have no idea what they're doing. So that can be very, very costly. You see how that is? See? Some of these things must come off. Don't be afraid to pull. Sometimes you have your pry tools and stuff like that to help you with certain things. As you can see, some of these pieces are a little tough to come off, and they will come off. $10mm bolts, retaining it, as you see. A lot of these parts, panels, and pieces come with retention clips on them. So that's the reason why you use your panel popper. Well, hey, sometimes you have to pull a little bit more aggressively, but it will come out. Okay, let's talk about the important things. The parts that you're going to need to install is a dash kit. We use Metro. As you see, for the Rav4, it's 2016. They are very great in making sure that your dash kit looks like your factory finish on your vehicle. We a lot of time we use Metro wire harnessing too, but AI is another great company made by Pack. Very great company. Have nothing bad to say about them, not subpar on any measure. This is your steering wheel control. You want to retain your steering wheel controls, your volume, you're going to the next song, you're answering the phone. This is how it's done. This is a separate part. It does not come with the radio. So do not assume that it comes with your radio. These are extra parts. This here is the antenna adapter. As you see, DB Link, they do make great parts also. As you can see, you can get various parts by various companies that actually will do the things that you need them to do. The point is to get the job done. And there are some subpar parts out there on the market. I will not mention those because I don't want to give anybody who does crappy things any kind of infamy. This here is your harness that triggers your backup camera. Because let me explain to y'all. You see how I said 12 volt to 6 volt cam step down? Some of these cameras on these vehicles, they are very equipped, they're very nice to have. And even though the vehicle is majority 12 volt, a lot of your cameras are 12 volt. I'm sorry, 6 volt. So you must drop the current down so it does not burn the camera up. And who wants to run a new camera anyway or have to pay to replace it? As you see, the radio is about to come out. Let's see. Now back to what I was saying about parts. These are things that you must have, and yes, you must purchase. So when you go to your local dealer, or your local shop and they're giving you a price for installing a radio, keep in mind these things are not free. As you see, they are individually packaged. No one is going to individually package anything and make something and give it to you on the house. That's not happening. It doesn't happen for us, so it will not happen for you. As you can see, parts are very necessary to install these radios. Oh, I ain't tell you what this is. Okay. This is the harness to retain the backup camera. You can either add one to a factory screen or you can retain one. This is a great part. Saves your life. As you see, 6-volt supply. You see how it comes saying that it's 6-volt. Please take note of these things. It's best to do research on your vehicles if you can. If you want, you can call us 404-552-1214 and we will give you advice and try to find a part number. Even whether you order it from me or you order it online, I'd rather for you to go in the right direction than the wrong. Okay. A lot of times you'll find us using manual tools to remove things because honestly you can feel better with your hands than a lot of time with impact tools and wrenches and stuff like that. You can't. Now, as you see, these have plugs and harnesses. See this? They unplug. These harnesses that I have right here, they plug into those plugs painlessly, but still, you must know what you're buying. Don't just let nobody cut those plugs. Please don't then pull up to a shop like us and say, hey, I started on my radio, but I'm not sure of what's going on. And then now we have to go and look up guides and stuff, and then you wonder why it's more costly to get it done. All right, I'm about to prep the radio. Now I try to walk you through that also. Okay, bring you over here to the work table so you guys can see. See this? This is the step down converter I was telling you about. I took it out the pack. Guys, it comes with instructions. It comes with instructions. Reading is very fundamental. This is your wire harness. This is giving you your speaker power, your other speakers, your power outputs from your vehicle. This goes to your car's factory harness. And the reason why I'm pulling this out to show you this is because, like I said, they come with instructions explaining you what wire is what. See this? This is the backup camera retention. You see? If we go back over here, we see the 6-volt power supply. See how this comes with these instructions? These gonna correlate to this. See that? All you got to do is read, and it's gonna tell you what you need to know. Antenna adapter. If you're not getting radio stations, this is your part that you may want to look at. This here goes to a remote, or some radios actually have a separate wire for the radio antenna. It's a difference between antenna and amplifier tuner. Be mindful of that. Today's unit, like I said, is the Pioneer DMH-W2770 NEX. This does wireless, CarPlay, and Android Auto. Very beautiful unit, working and all, very inexpensive. It's not a whole lot to it. It just works perfectly. There's no CD player. If you're still using CDs, stay tuned to a later episode and we'll get into that for you. This is the part that makes it look like it came factory in your vehicle. please use a dash kit. It's a lot of times I see y'all with cardboard, wood, chucks, and I understand sometimes, but however, hey, if you ain't spent money on this, these things you will need. Okay, I done unboxed the radio so you can see what all comes in it. I'm gonna explain those later. As you see, this is what all comes in the box. Plug for your steering wheel control and where your rear view camera plugs in. Your aux input. Me personally, if you're using Bluetooth, I feel like auxiliary is just a waste, but however, people still love it. These are for your amp inputs. When you're running an amp, you need this here. Very important. As you see, has a subwoofer connection. See, even when you hooking up a real TV or whatever real entertainment you have. If you like XM radio, there you have it. This is your GPS antenna. It helps give you more accurate reading for the radio to know exactly where you at when you use your Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. Your microphone so people can hear you. Your extension of your USB, because the USB port is located on the rear of the radio. Here's your screws for mounting to your what? Dash kit. Very important. You're gonna want to use those. Okay, so I'm about to assemble this together because I can't walk and chew bubble gum. Meaning I can't hold the camera and do this at the same time. I will see if I can attempt to rig or set up the camera where it looks good. But however, we're gonna get it done. These are what we call butt connectors. Use that with this to make sure your wiring does not come loose. You can also use tape. I'm not beyond anyone using tape. I prefer Tesla tape because this stuff grips like none other. A good set of crimpers, wire strippers. Well, some of you are gonna need another set of strippers just specifically for stripping wire. I've been doing this 30 years, so hey, my skills are impeccable with these guys right here. Somebody need to buy me an iced out one of these. But back to the issue at hand. As you see, you have the unit itself. Here's something I want to touch on right quick. As you see, you have your connections. Connections are very important. If you notice, these have clips. They tend to make these connectors where you only can plug them into one place. You don't have to force them. You don't have to jam them. If it lines up and goes in, that's where it goes. As you can see, they have clips. Please press these in until you hear it click, because this is how you can end up with shortages, you know, where stuff sounds seem like it's going in and out, or you may not get your camera display. Here's your port for your antenna, GPS, microphone, and also for your power plugs and your USB. Please be mindful of these things. Also, talk about this out too. Let me get my wire harness back down here. See this? This is the harness that needs to connect to this harness. These do not come in the box. They are sold separately for your specific individual vehicle. Now, if you notice one thing, you should, I'm coming look, you see how those colors are? The red, yellow, green, white, you got gray and purple in here. And Watch this. Ooh, you see how they match this. That's all. This is where your just match the color come in at. Don't cut your plug in your car. They not gonna be the same. It's not the same. I'm gonna repeat, not the same, and I'm gonna point this out once I get into the vehicle with the unit. Okay, I wanted to show y'all. Here's the back of the factory radio. As you notice, some of these plugs, those right there, your power and your speaker plugs, if you notice, they look the same. They look the same. See this? Where your backup camera getting retained at right here. Antenna. Steering wheel controls, you will have to look up the wiring that correlates with what you're gonna need. So what you're not gonna need, you're not gonna use all these wires. Just not. Once again, reading is fundamental. Access, another company of Metra, they will make sure. And once again, here's another thing. These companies have great tech support. Call them. They have no problem with helping you and walking you through it to make sure you have the appropriate wire that you're connecting to. Like they say in building, measure twice, cut once. Make sure before you connect. Because one thing about electronics, there's no later on down the road. When you mess up, you know immediately. So we're gonna get this on over here into the vehicle. I'm dressing the dash kit. As you can see, these are the brackets that will hold it on, just like on the factory radio. As you see the side bracketing, I'm about to remove these clips so that I can place them onto my. Okay, I keep stressing about these wire harness connections because you need to make sure that you are plugging things in correctly and where they should go. You're not to force anything. The only thing you're doing is pushing them into their respective spots until they click. Now, don't let, when you get behind these dashboards and stuff, you see some of these harnesses. Once you remove the radio connects to things in this vehicle that you may lose function of. They may connect to the radio just to provide a certain function. Like some of them gonna have your XM antennas or what have you that communicate with the antenna for you to have satellite radio if you're not replacing that. A lot of companies make adapters for them. So once again, always do your research on the vehicle. Okay. Now, also to know, steering wheel controls. You will have to go find your wires and connect to these wires directly. So in some of these vehicles, you're gonna have to put more than effort than just taking the radio out. Like in this Toyota, I'm gonna have to come, because of the step down converter, I'm gonna have to come over here and access the BCM. So when the car goes in reverse and give me a 12-volt signal, it sends the power to my converter chip, my converter, to change it to 6-volt so it can feed into the camera once again so it does not burn my camera up. So I'm gonna do that right quick, and then we're gonna come back while I plug in these harnesses, and that way you can see the way that it's supposed to go. Okay, well, as you see, I've connected harnesses, and I want to point out something because I need you to understand this one thing here. When you connect harnesses, make sure you hear that click. That lets you know you're securely in there So you don't have to worry about, oh, did the wire come loose? That's the reason why a lot of times your tech will look at you like you got 8 heads and just shake his head like, no. So be mindful of that. Like I said, not all harnesses will go back in. I always plug this in onto the radio regardless, just in case this person may go to a different shop or what have you, and at least they have their audio expansion harness on here so that they don't have to worry about trying to go look through the box, go send. That frustrates you and the customer when you run into these issues like this here. I got a wire routed over here, going over here to my BCM so it can trigger the reverse. So right now, what I'm about to do is turn my unit on at the same time, attempt to program. Hold on, Mom, let me get this in here situated so I can use this camera too. Okay, I did this like this just because I wanted you to be able to see this here. Because when you turn your radio on, you sometime with these steering wheel controls as access, you will have to go through a programming procedure. Like you turn the vehicle on. Oh, radio on, that's a good sign. And it has a blinking light on here that it needs to go through a series of flashes to recognize the radio. And as you can hear by that, that come from me doing this because I must, while those lights was blinking, I must be pressing my buttons so to make sure everything can come on the way we need it to. Let's see. Hey, we got sound.
Any other attorney taking more money than they had to. I heard on the radio about real clients.
As you see, steering wheel control works. The next thing to do is to actually crank up the vehicle to see if the reverse works. Hey, look at that. We got a camera, my guy. Yeah. Put it back in. Okay, cool. Go back to our main screen. They'll let us know that the install part of this thing is over. We got everything in here correctly. Now to go ahead and hide everything or what have you. Oh, here go the microphone. Now I just got to place my GPS antenna. We're done. Hey, let's get her out of here. Okay. I'm going to tell you this, and I'm going to tell you this. Taking the vehicle apart is very crucial. That way you don't end up with broken pieces and parts. There's plenty of videos out here that show you how to take some of these vehicles apart. Please employ them. I promise you. Because there's nothing like taking a trip to the dealership for a broken piece that you're going to swear to God is not worth it. Okay, as you see, it's in, working, functioning. We have our Android Auto hooked up. I have an Android. Don't get me started on that. Like I said, taking your parts off and putting them back is very important. As you can see, clean look. Like our Bluetooth microphone. Hey, I believe she's gonna be very happy with this. But yeah, like I'm gonna reiterate again about the parts, man. Y'all take these parts off very carefully because some cars are very brittle. And with that being said, about cars being brittle, man, you never know when something is gonna break. Ain't nothing like going to the dealership and a part like this. To you, it looks like something very simple. But that little one plastic piece can easily go for $85, $90 at the dealership. And you're going to be pissed because you're having to do it because you mishandling it and trying to manhandle everything. It's all right to firmly pull on things, but know the difference. You can tell what something is hung and snug at. If you're not sure, go find a video. Please, I promise you, it's worth it in the end.